I thought you guys were gonna see me naked. Click the wrong screen. No, I actually have my camera pointed at the wall for that exact reason. Oh no, my OBS is frozen. What's going on here? What are you doing? There you go. Were you always able to see this cursor? Yeah, that's weird. You can see it on the home screen, but not on the main screen. That's very bizarre. Very bizarre. Anyway, now that the intro is all messed up, welcome to another live stream. Whether you're watching live or after it saves, we just got one of the biggest signals that I was hoping for. As some people comment, is Mr. Bear happy? I think I'm not happy now, but Mr. Bear is getting excited. Mr. Bear is definitely getting excited now. I'm going to tell you why Mr. Bear is getting excited now. So, as per the 4-year cycle, we already measured this beautifully. We established that historically, based on the halving, we typically bottom around 520 to 530 to 540 days before the halving. That's been true. A lot of people like to measure from bottom to top, or bottom to bottom, or top to bottom, or top to top, which is fine. That's more than okay. Top to top, top to top, top to top, you got more data. If you go bottom to bottom, you don't have as much data. If you go bottom to top, you have a little bit more data. And if you use the halving, you have a lot of data. Because we've had 4 halvings. So, we can speculate because we don't know where the other bottom or top will be, but we have an idea of where the halving will be because of the current hash rate and current people mining. So the halving is projected to be in April of 2028, which means if we count backwards and we use 525, 546, and 518, we can speculate that the bottom should probably be somewhere in October or November. Now, why is that important? Well, that's important because, as I already have drawn, thankfully, when we reach 300 and X days from the peak, we have actually seen a major move down to the low. We can see in 2018, the major capitulation took place on October 18th. Sorry, in October of 2018. And we took a shit on the back of the bus all the way down to Goblin Town. And there was no reason to frown. All right. The dump took 56 days to play out. So at 308 days, we took a shit on the back of the bus and we went down to 3,000 in 56 days. In 2022, when we reached 308 days, we can see we actually had one final relief rally, and then we took a shit on the back of the bus, and we fell over the course of 77 days. 1 week from today will get us to that same exact timeline of 308 days from the top. Technically, it'll actually be here, because it won't be next week. It'll be August 10th. So starting August 10th, we can start speculating that if the bottom is projected to be in October, starting August 10th, we can actually start looking for a macro move to the downside, because in the both prior market cycles, that's what happened. Now, you can't just run around saying just because it happened last time means it has to happen again. But now that I took a little while to explain this soliloquy, if you go back to those exact time frame, or at least in 2018, unfortunately, I don't have the first market cycle on here. If we do go back to 2018, we can see that Bitcoin was up here, and then it entered capitulation. Now, what is capitulation? Some people say capitulation is when the RSI oversold. Some people say capitulation is when the crowd gives up. I like to use the actual definition of capitulation, and that is when the network is actually underwater. Okay? And we can use the nupal to portray that. Capitulation is when you're negative 25%. You can see this guy obviously has his charts backwards, as he has capitulation as negative 25, but he made it red, and the red is all the way up on the top. So he has it backwards. So whoever made this website, if you're watching this live stream, you got to update this, okay? You have capitulation at negative 25, and negative 25 is down here, which is blue, and you have it as purple. Anyway, it's when it hits negative 25, extreme fear. And we can see that it was present in 2015, 2022, and 2022, 2018, 2015. And you can see that right now, we're currently not there yet, which means we have not hit capitulation. Okay? The network as a whole, no matter what anybody says, okay? This is on-chain, verified, never wrong. I'm wrong, but the on-chain data is never wrong. We have not gone below the average network price. Okay? Unfortunately, this website doesn't have a realized price for whatever reason. Yes, this could be this could be it here. Okay, you get the point. I'm trying to sound fancy. The realized price is 53,000. We never fell below 53,000. Therefore, the network has never gone negative. It's a fact. Check it up. Look it up. Anyway, now that my aura has been lost, I never said that before, but I'm in a good mood today. Now that my aura farming is done, every single time in history, Bitcoin had gone down to a negative nupal below the realized price, and that typically happened around 300 days from the top. In 2000 and whatever year this is, 300 days from the top, you hit negative nupal for the first time. How can you pull that up? Well, you simply pull up the realized price, which you can see is located in the green. We fell below the realized price for the first time on September 14th. In 2018, we fell below the realized price for the first time in November of 2018. In 2022, we actually fell a little earlier. We fell below the realized price in June of 2022. You'll notice that we never fell below the realized price. So that means by definition of capitulation, the network never went underwater, meaning capitulation never happened. So why am I aura farming taking so long to explain this? Because just today, ladies, or I guess gentlemen and the three ladies, not only did we already make the case that according to the halving and the top, 300 days from the peak does lead to the final capitulation, as you can see drawn here, which is what I started the soliloquy with. Not only is that the case, but just today, we got a monster sell signal. We actually got two, but we got a death signal that says every single time Bitcoin has ever gone down to the negative nupal or below the realized price, this signal has been present. And I present to you the beloved signal that we were watching for the last week. With the close of the S&P 500 today, we got our 2-week sell signal on the semiconductors. Now, some people may think this is doesn't mean anything, but you'll notice that every time Bitcoin entered the negative nupul, this signal was present. I just told you it entered the negative nupul in November of 2018. This signal was in October. I just told you that in 2022, Bitcoin entered the negative nupul in June. This was present at the end of February. We're not going to count COVID. Obviously, the whole world collapsed on COVID. If we go back to the first bear market, I just told you the sell signal was present at the end of September. And we already went over that Bitcoin fell below the realized price in September, October, November of 2014. And we finally got it today. We just broke and triggered the sell signal. Now, just because it gets a sell signal doesn't mean Bitcoin has to go down. But every single time Bitcoin has gone down to the negative nupul, this indicator was present. And if you would like even more evidence, you can even go to the very first bear market and you can actually toggle Bitcoin on your chart. Ba-bam! Sell signal on SOXL, Bitcoin, nasty bear market. As the brain rot people would say, nasty work. You had a diabolical drop. In 2014, the sell signal was present. Bitcoin had that diabolical death spiral to the negative nupul. In 2018, Bitcoin had the diabolical death spiral after the sell signal printed. And finally, in 2022, we can see that the sell signal triggered the capitulation to the negative nupul. Now, you'll obviously have the peanut gallery say, well, nothing happened here, so that means it's not going to work. Well, I am not a magician and I don't have a 100% success rate, but if I were going to bet, I would have to argue that considering every time this has occurred, Bitcoin put some type of macro crash in, I would be looking for a macro crash. The only time it didn't happen was 2024. So if you want to bet, not telling you to, but 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to exclude COVID because COVID was obviously the global meltdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll even give you a pass, and you could say this one didn't do anything, even though we can clearly see Bitcoin crashed. We'll give you 4 out of 6. There's a 4 out of 6 chance that Bitcoin's about to take a shit on the back of the bus. So if you want to bet against it, I'm not telling you that you can't or you can. You got to do what's best for you. But if I were a betting man, the fact that we're not only getting the sell signal where we've always gotten it, but we're not above or below, rather, the realized price before we got the sell signal, just like all other prior bear markets. Bitcoin had not fallen below the realized price in any other bear market without this sell signal. We just got the sell signal today. Confirmed, it'll be there forever and ever. And we'll look back at this in 2 years and say, damn, that sell signal really did trigger the capitulation. So not only that, but we're also 300 days from the top, which I already told you in the last 2 bear markets, we basically had our final move down to the bottom. Not to mention in 2018, that is exactly where the sell signal printed. Let me reiterate that. In 2018, if we measure 300 days from the peak, that puts us right in the middle of October. Okay, 308 days. I just told you that in 2018, the sell signal printed in October. So is it a coincidence that we're doing the same exact thing as 2018, where we're just sitting here not doing nothing, and we just got the same sell signal, and we're the same distance from the top. Okay? So if you're a betting man, you got to do whatever you want to do, but the historical favoritism is favoritizing, as I make a new word, is favoritizing the bear circumstance, the bear situation. Now, if that's not enough, that's fine. Even with the big-ass rally we got today, the S&P 500 was unable to remove the red dot from our wave trend indicator. This 2-week red dot will be here forever and ever. Now, just because there's a red dot doesn't mean we definitively have to go down. But as I mark these puppies for you, you'll see an interesting trend here in just a moment. Dating all the way back. We're going to skip COVID. Again, obviously, COVID was everything died. We don't want to use COVID because it doesn't really help us. But we'll go all the way back to 2017. We'll even throw in the fake. We'll throw in the shitty ones. We'll throw in the traps. Okay? I'm not going to mark all of these. You can clearly see there's too many of them. So let's go back to 2017. And we'll mark this one. Now, you'll say, well, this indicator sucks because the S&P didn't even go down. And I would say you are absolutely right. However, if we leave the lines on the chart and we put Bitcoin on the chart, you can see it becomes less shitty. All right? We can see that in November, there was a big crash. Now, some might be saying, oh, well, the red dot marked the bottom. I understand how you can say that, and I see the argument, but the point here is this. Some YouTubers are saying the bottom is in and we're getting ready to go up. In November, we didn't get ready to go up. We went sideways and then we went down. And the thing is here, chat, we've already been going sideways. So you can't just keep going sideways. You need to go up or down. And this red dot, because we did actually go sideways and then down, this red dot is telling you you're either going to go up or down now. And considering for the last 2 years, whenever we've gotten this red dot, we've either gone sideways or down. Okay? In 2024, we got this red dot and we went down again before going higher. So if we go down again, then that means the bottom is not in. But if the bottom's not in and the bottom for the 4-year cycle's in 2 months, then why would we make another bottom just to bottom a month before the bear market bottom's supposed to be on the 4-year cycle? That doesn't make any sense. If we go down and make another low, you can probably assume the 4-year cycle will continue. If we go to the February one, clearly we can see Bitcoin went down. If we go to the December one, clearly we can see Bitcoin went down. If we go to the April one, clearly we can see Bitcoin went down. So you can clearly see on your chart that in both instances, Bitcoin went lower. Okay, Bitcoin went lower here. Bitcoin went sideways and then lower here. If we go back further, we can see Bitcoin obviously went lower here. No question, this one was definitely bullish. So we're going to give this a point to the orange people. And we can also see that Bitcoin went down. I know this doesn't look like a big drop, but Bitcoin fell from 35,000 all the way down to 31,000, which is a little more than 10%. But I got to keep in mind that if Bitcoin falls by 10%, we would go back to 56,000. If you think 56,000 is bullish, you know, you got to do what's best for you. And then finally, we do want to include 2018 and 2017. Look at that. We got another October 2018 print, 300 days from the peak, just as we discussed. We can see as well that we did have a bounce here, but then we went lower again. Now keep in mind, this is an S&P 500 indicator. It is not a Bitcoin indicator. It just happens to be that whenever Bitcoin or the S&P gets a red dot, Bitcoin will be bearish if it's bearish. And of course, I intentionally included 2017 because I did not want to cherry pick the data. I want to use consistent data, and we can clearly see that the indicator is not perfect. So you did have 3 traps in 2017. Obviously, we know that 2014 was bearish. I don't want to mark every single one of them. It will take too long. You get the concept. But I will mark this one. Why? Because yet again, we have the same sell signal, not only around 300 days from the peak. We can obviously see this one is a little shorter. But I already told you that the semiconductor sell signal printed in the same spot, and then Bitcoin went down. So we just got 2 not perfect. Okay, this indicator is not perfect. We had 1 false print, and we had 3 false prints. And I'm not going to count these because I'm not going to count these. Okay, this one was clearly bearish. This one was bearish. This one was bearish. I'm not going to count all of them. Okay. We got 4 false prints, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 to 4. So 8 out of 12 times, Bitcoin either went sideways or lower. Let me rephrase that. 8 out of 12 times, Bitcoin made a lower low after you got the red dot. 8 out of 12 times, Bitcoin made a lower low after you got the red dot. If you want to say for the perfect argument that this red dot triggered the bottom, we'll give you 7 out of 12. We'll delete this. Say it was bullish. 7 out of 12 times, the price was lower. Now, I'm not a betting man, but I am a betting man. And 7 out of 12 is a good bet that I would love to take. And to tie everything together, Anon, our Moonboy chart has predicted to us that if the price of Bitcoin is unable to turn bullish before August, then after August, there shall be blood in the streets, courtesy of greedy bulls, greedy Moonboys. And I have to prepare because our Moonboy chart is officially saying to me that we are entering the kill zone. We may not come up here. This magnet has potentially let us down. I'm not giving up hope yet, but we have officially entered the kill zone for our Moonboy chart, as if it was not going to be bearish, we would not be in this range. If it was going to be bullish, we would be much higher. I say that as I said the same thing in November. I said if we're going to have a super cycle, fine. If we're in if it's January and we're still down here, it's bearish. There was a Moonboy event right here that made me bearish, and it was bearish. The thing is, this Moonboy event is bullish, and we still didn't go up. So I have no reason to assume the price will go up until the springtime. So I am here to tell you today that as of August 12th, I am looking for sub 50,000 at any moment, and I do think it will be coming. And the fact that we're getting the sell signals that we were waiting for right on cue, maybe it's different this time. Maybe I am wrong. But if history repeats itself the way that it usually does, because humans never learn from their mistakes, I'm going to prepare for sub 50,000. I know some people think we're not going down there, and maybe we don't. But if we don't, then we've done something that we've never done, which is enter capitulation. And you'll notice that in every bull market, the bull market begins when Bitcoin pulls away from the long-term holder cost basis. It's not when you get over it. You can see you got over it here and there was a nasty trap. But then when we finally blew through it, we never came back. That was all she wrote. In 2022, you came below it, you came above it. You came below it, you came above it. And then we had the bear market bottom, clearly below the long-term holder cost basis. When we finally broke back above it, it was off to the races. In every single bear market in history, we have gone below the long-term holder cost basis. The only time we haven't is right now. So I am a believer in history. I think if you look throughout history of your country, you'll see the same mistakes occur. If you look through your dating history, you'll see the same mistakes occur. If you look through your bank statements, you'll see the same mistakes occur. And the same mistakes occur because human behavior is very repetitive over the course of time. People make the same mistakes over and over again. That's why I can never lose weight. I lose weight, then I gain it all back. And that is why I believe that we will fall below the cost basis of the long-term holders, because it's always happened. And I think it will always happen forever and ever. And that is my presentation for today. We shall open up questions to the press one at a time, please. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. We got 100 viewers. Welcome to the stream. 100 beautiful lammies. I need you guys to know that if this ends up playing out, I will be one of the most grateful people in the world. I have tears building up just thinking about it if it plays out. So I appreciate you all listening to my spiel for the last 2 months and the last 5 years. But somebody has to be wrong here. And if the Moon Boys are wrong, then I get to slurp on their tears. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We'll open up questions to the press. Our first question says, what do you have to say about the egg allegations? I'm not sure what egg allegations are, but I will like to answer that getting chicken from Aldi's is not recommended. It is very rubbery and disgusting. I don't recommend chicken from Aldi. Now, it is not defamation, as it's personal preference. It is just my opinion. It is not food advice. And this is not legal advice. If you prefer Aldi's chicken and you prefer very, very rubbery chicken, then you can go to Aldi, but I prefer not rubbery chicken, so I do not recommend Aldi. Not slander or defamation, just preference. It is just my opinion. Thank you for your question. Next question. So Fishy says, did you see the cold card heist? I do not know what that means. I am unsure what that is. I have no comment because I don't want to speak on something that I am ignorant about. Thank you for your question. Next question. Matthew Dropko says, not a question. He's just insulting me. I don't think you have good luck cooking chicken. I appreciate the feedback. Next question. Moonwolf says, you're basically saying old season starts tomorrow. If you're a bear, I do think old season starts very shortly. Not financial advice, of course, but I think if we run through the historical evidence from the last 30 days, a lot of coins are taking massive moves to the downside. We can see that Chill Guys attempting to come back is always a good sign. But Bitcoin Obama Inu did have a little bit of a spike. I can't say this is accurate. It was obviously much smaller. It was a little junior one. But you can see that another move down has just begun. We can see that ETH is really starting to struggle here, just as it had at all prior tops. Okay? People forget that this was also the top. At the tippity top, the day of the top, called by Ron Walker himself, ETH struggled, then we went down. In January, where it was a super cycle, ETH struggled, then we went down. In May, where it was a super cycle, ETH struggled right here, and then we went down. And right now, Ethereum is struggling. So we are getting sell signals. I have to prepare for a breakdown. I'm now seeing Moon Boys say we can... Oh, NPC is breaking down. Red alert. NPC is breaking down. It hasn't broke structure yet, so we can't say bearish. But it is coming back down. Okay, we also saw Coinbase have earnings. I don't know if anybody caught that today. Coinbase took a shit on the back of the bus. You took a shit on the back of the bus, so shut your fucking mouth. When I saw this morning, I felt like a kid again. Coinbase took a shit on the back of the bus. It hasn't broken the low yet, so we can't turn bearish just yet. But she's getting there. Listen to me and you listen good. Once Coinbase breaks this low, it's GG's, my brother. You can't keep bouncing off the same support level and not expect a breakdown. You already bounced off of it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. This is number 5 now. We cannot bounce off of this forever. Next question, please. Demon says, what's going on with Dogecoin? That's a great question. Now, I'm not a TA guy and I'm not a predictor, but I do believe Doge is going down to 5 cents. It looks like it almost just made another low last night. I think 5-cent Doge is the target. It's been the target since November. The only way that does not happen is over the next 30 days, Doge needs a protection spike. You can see from the last time we discussed, we've clearly seen Doge BTC take a shit. There is a big wick down here, and normally that wick does get filled, so you have to be open to this. Do I know for certain Doge is going to 5 cents? No. I have to respect the historical data, and the historical data has actually seen Doge have a protection spike as Bitcoin goes down to the bottom. It had occurred in 2022, and it had occurred in 2018, as you can see here. However, you cannot assume it has to happen again. That would be the only way Doge doesn't go to 5 cents, is if there's a massive protection spike. But if it doesn't happen soon, I don't think it's happening. And what is soon? I would say August 20th. I think if Doge doesn't get the bounce by August 20th, it's not coming. And we're looking for 5 cents. Because Doge going down to 5 cents would fill this gap. You'd fill the wick, and we can start being bullish on Doge, in my opinion. I turn bullish on Doge once it cracks 5 cents. Not financial advice, of course. Where's the next question? Johnny117 for 7 months says 44K August 13th. The blank is a black swan. I appreciate the 7 months. 44K by August would be a dream come true, but I don't remember any time my dream has come true. So I have to say I disagree. If I had to make a bold prediction by August 13th, I think we could be where we are right now, or a little lower, around 58,000. I have 2 projections for August. My first projection is the Moonboy event has one last suction cup to the upside before moving down. Or we already topped out and we're going down to the low. And I think by August, we'll probably be around 56. I think by the end of August, we'll be around here somewhere. Between 58 and 60,000. That is my prediction. That doesn't mean I'm going to be right. Maybe you're right and we go to 44,000. But as it's currently constructed, there is always a possibility we're right here. Obviously, if we are, then your 44K prediction will be correct. And I hope it happens. I hope that happens. But for now, even if we're here and we see a little bit, it does look like this, I will say, it does. But even if we do something like this and we just grind back to the low, and we're back at the low, and then sometime late August we take a shit. Very possible. I will respect that it does look like that, so can't ignore it. But I appreciate the gifted sub from Johnny. Or it's actually not gifted, it's a regular sub. Grease Monkey says, welcome to Moonboy. I appreciate that. I think you sent a super chat as well. Yes, he sent me €5. Keep the good work, gangsta. I appreciate the 5. I am not a gangsta. Don't condone gangsta activities. But I appreciate the 5 from Grease Monkey Gangsta. Gangsta Monkey Dave. It's very important to note, chat, that I am not saying I'm going to be right. I am only portraying to you historical data. If the historical data does the same thing again, then so be it. I'm not telling you that something's going to happen. I'm just showing you what has happened. I think one of the elephants in the room that I would love to put down, even though I don't believe in putting down elephants, is the tether needs to go down. And tether has been going down. It's been happening under people's noses, but tether has been going down. All right, when tether goes down, that's bearish. Tether is getting extremely close to making a new low for the market cycle. That is not something that you want to see if you're a moon boy. If you're a moon boy, you want to see tether explode. All right, all right, all right, all right. When you see tether going down, that's bearish. May of 2022. Bearish. We have to go all the way back to 2018. When you see tether going down, it's bearish. Now, tether hasn't gone down yet. It didn't break the low. I just keep getting bit. Something's biting my head. I don't know if it's a mosquito or I got a bite on my head here, back of my head. I just went for a walk and it was on the left side of my head. Something bit me. Yeah, I have 3 bite marks. I can't see them, but I can feel them. I have one here, one here. This one was from yesterday. Yeah, I don't think I'm walking there anymore, chat. There's like spider webs and shit hanging from the leaves. And there's these little caterpillars that always crawl on me when I get in my car. They hang from the leaves, and I guess I'm the only person that walks through them. But I appreciate the subscriptions. We got Mr. Chris for 5, says, how we doing today? Are we about to rocket out of here? I appreciate the 5. Well, some YouTubers do think we're about to rocket out of here. I think we're about 10 days away from going down. I am turning back into a full-blown bear. I believe tomorrow is the 1st, which means that next Saturday is the 8th. So Sunday's the 9th, Monday's the 10th, Tuesday's the 11th, Wednesday's the 12th. I'm going to say I'm going to turn into a full-blown bear next Friday. Next Friday. So right now I'm still a bear with a bull mask, but the first bull mask string broke. So you know how the cheap string masks, sometimes they disconnect? The string on the right side broke, so now I have to hold the mask up with my hand. Next week, the other string breaks, and then I'm fully holding up the mask with my hand, and then after August 14th, I just throw the mask on the floor, and I say full-blown bear. But I appreciate the 5. I appreciate the 5 from Mr. Chris. It does help out in times of despair. Gentlemen, this is a life-changing situation right now. Because if we get this right, and the semiconductors go back down, you guys got to understand something. I fucking wish I woke up sooner. But stocks are not like crypto. If you don't sell the exact top, maybe the money's gone for a little while, but you can always get it back from holding. If you bought the exact top in 2021 and you just held, you got your money back. I know it's not pretty, But if you buy this and you just hold, you are never getting your money back. And how many of us have done that? I am putting in my stock. I am putting in my... Oh, what's going on with Dogecoin? It's getting ready to make another low. Luna Classic just made another low. We're getting more information. I am transitioning to a stock guy. I think I'm gonna take the jump, guys. Sweet Jesus. No, but only if it goes down. If we don't get the stock market crash, I'm trapped in crypto. But if we get the stock market crash, I'm gonna be a YouTube guy or a stock guy. Because hear me out, gentlemen, hear me out. Let's say you have a budget of $2,500 or $25,000 or $250,000. And Bitcoin goes down to 40,000. If you put, well, we'll say 20,000 because it's even, it's easier for my little pea brain. Let's say you have $20,000 or $2,000 or $200,000. You can get half a Bitcoin, you can get 5 Bitcoin, or you can get 0.05 Bitcoin. Let's just say 20,000. The price of Bitcoin going back to a new all-time high will get you around 70,000, which is a decent return. That's definitely a lot of money. I think I have to agree with that. That's a decent amount of money. If we go to 160 to 170,000, now you have about 85,000, which is definitely a lot of money. I will admit, definitely a lot of money. But that is your cap. It will not go higher than this. And if I don't sell, I could hold my Bitcoin. So I can't really say that's the worst. I'm not going to pretend and say that that's bad. That's not bad. Turning 20,000 into 85,000 just by doing nothing, that's a pretty good return. But we don't know if it's going to get up there. If I take that same 20,000 and I stick it into TQQQ at $25, and I take our average return, last bull market, it did a 600% gain at the same time as Bitcoin. The one before that, it did a 10x when Bitcoin did a 30x. But we know that Bitcoin's not doing a 30x. And if we go to the time before that, we can see we got a 5x. Well, technically, 5x is actually less than what this is, because we went from $1.40 to 9 something. So if the S&P gets that drop, and this actually comes down here, here's the kicker, gentlemen. I could put my money in here and never touch it again. And even if we get a 2008 stock market crash, I can just hold, and eventually I'll get it back. But I'm not just going to sit there and hold it through a fucking death spiral. We have our Moonboy chart. Our Moonboy chart tells us that we're in the clear until 2029. So I think I'm crossing over to the stock world. But only if we get this drop. If we just go like this, then I can't do anything. I am stuck in crypto hell, and I'll have to be an MSTR moon boy like the rest of you. No, I'm just kidding. Like Sonny the curry man. I have no issues being an MSTR moon boy. I don't. If I have to do it, I will. Not to mention MSTR is extremely close to wrapping this shit up. So if I have to be an MSTR moon boy, then I'll do it. I appreciate the 5 from Chris. Against all odds for 10 says Killa LP say bottom is in, and already says sub 50K is unlikely because of long time holder supply. All very good traders on X. I appreciate the 10. I don't know who LP is, and I don't know who Artie is either, but I've heard of Killa. Yes, we're at that crossroads. Some people say the bottom is already in. Some people say the bottom is not in. There's no evidence that I can show you, nor do I care to convince you. Not you specifically, just in general. We're at that point of the market cycle where you must place your bet. Do you think it's different this time, or do you think it's not different this time? I'm confident that it's not different this time because I did everything in my power to prove it was different this time, saying that the top was here, and the top was still here anyway. Every single metric said the top was in, except for the 4-year cycle, and the top was in. The same arguments that I made here, RSI, stock RSI, MACD, moving averages, people are using right now. And that's why I don't think it's going to work, because they're doing the same thing as me, but at the top, and we went up anyway. So now everyone's showing all these cool moving averages. We're going to go down anyway, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right. So there's nothing I can do to show you or convince you. We're at that stage of the market cycle where you either place your bet, and best of luck to you all. Best of luck to you all. I don't think you can convince the other side. But I do appreciate the 10. It does help a lot in times of despair. Thank you very much for the 10, man. Grease Monkey for 5 says, would you look at Halfords, the company I work for? I appreciate the 5 from Grease Monkey. Halfords Group. Are you a Londoner? Oh, you better exercise them options, boy. Yeah, is this an airplane company? It looks like Boeing. Well, it looks like it wants to be bullish at face value, but when you dig a little deeper under the surface, do you include this flash crash or do you not? That is the question. If you include the flash crash, we could potentially... Oh, we don't even have to. Hold on a second. I don't know what this is. I would assume because we're getting ready to enter a crash, in my opinion, selling at the 618 retracement should work. Not financial advice, of course. You should see a pullback, at least to 190. And if that ends up holding, then we can be bullish. A break below 190 confirms that this stock is doomed into the shadow realm for eternity. The stock has been bearish ever since it launched in 2004. The market cap is currently 500 million. You also have a major downtrend coming up actually right now. You can see from this high to this lower high. Of course, if you drag it up like this, you could go much higher to the 786 retracement, which very well still may happen. But typically, turning bearish at the 618 is not the worst idea. You can probably even push the bearish propaganda and say you're there now, but you're actually through it, so that would be bullish. So 264 is possible. I think a rejection there is likely. A break below 190 will send it back to hell where it belongs. And obviously a breakout is always possible, but I don't see evidence of one yet. I see a high, a lower high. Is this a high or is this a higher high here, Chubbs? Oh, this looks like a higher high actually. I would be shocked if you broke through the 618 on the first try. If I'm going to make a prediction, I think this comes back down here. I think we look back at this in a couple months and we'll see that it came back down here. Whether or not it breaks, I don't know. But if it does break, it's bearish, not financial advice. We'll see how that ages. I appreciate the 10 or the 5. Fearing greed's at 34. I am so glad you said that because I wanted to check that today. I told myself there's a lot I want to check on my live stream today. We want to check the fear and greed index. If the fear and greed index pulled back, we're bearish. Okay, it didn't pull back yet. We're still not bearish. Bearish. It could be bearish, but there's no evidence. Sorry, at least from this. So what I was looking for is, you see how in May it was making a high and then it made a lower high? We don't have that right now. Unless it updates tomorrow. Oh, it has to update tomorrow. Right. We got to see what it does. But it's not there yet. But I also wanted to check on the VIX. What did the VIX do? Do we have any indicators on the VIX? VIX. What are we doing? Where's my MACD? Okay, I guess I got rid of it. Where's my McDonald's? All right, 4-day MACD. Oh, shit. It's red. Uh-oh. The Moon Boys might be back. Yeah, 5-day MACD's not green. Hold on a second now. The Moon Boys that's a point for the Moon Boys. Gotta respect it. That's a point for the Moon Boys for sure. That is a monster point for the Moon Boys. Damn. Gotta give them props. Stock market only goes up and to the right. That's unfortunate, but that is a big point for the Moon Boys. Stock RSI is still climbing. Yeah, we gotta see. I'll admit, we gotta see something soon, or the Moon Boys are gonna come back for the stock market. We gotta see something in I think we gotta see something in August for sure. Moon Boys might be back. If you mark your oversold VIX to overbought, you can see that Bitcoin has gone down every single time in the last 2 years. Moon Boys might be back, baby. Hold on a second. Or is today the top? We don't know. Moon Boys might be back. We might be back. All right, this one is still climbing. Yeah, I'll admit, guys, I'm getting a little nervous that we're not going to get the stock crash. I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't want to go down. I guess we're going to find out. It didn't want to go down here either, and then it went straight down. I guess that's how it always looks, right? It always looks like it doesn't want to go down, and then it does. Yeah, especially in 2018, it just literally went down for no reason. You know, like if you're looking at it like this, right? It's like, yeah, man, this shit looks good, doesn't it? Like this doesn't even look bearish, and then bam. That's kind of where we're at now. It just doesn't look bearish, and then bam. Doesn't look bearish. Bam. Oh yeah, but we got our 2-week sell signal. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's why today was so big. This red dot will be here forever. I forgot about this. Yeah, today was a big day. Today was a big day. Not to mention, gentlemen and the 5 ladies, this stock RSI cannot stay up here forever. I see Moon Boys saying that we can go down and still be bullish. This 5-day stock RSI says if you go down, it's game over. Ever since the bear market started. Even here, man. That was, yeah, dude, if we go down, it's over. Bearish. We got to go up now. If we go back down there, it's over. Look at that shit. If we go back down there, it's over, man. It's fucking over. Remember when they used to say it's Jover? If we go back down to 1600, it's over. Not financial advice. I guess you would measure it to here, actually. Yeah, we could see ETH fall by 40%. We could see ETH fall by 40%. Whoa, can't miss this one either. Look, 30%. I think if you're a moon boy, you don't want to see the price go back down there, gentlemen. I think you want to see the price move higher. I don't think you want to see a drop. What was the other thing I wanted to look at? There was something else. Unfortunately, the VIX turned bullish, which is good for the moon boys. Oh, you know what's too funny? Apple. Remember how we were talking about Apple and we said Apple pulling back should drop the market? Of course, the day Apple pulls back, everything else goes back up. So it's like they know what I'm talking about. Those little rats. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like, of course, right? It's just one of those things where Apple took a shit and then the semiconductors go back up. You need them both to go down together, which we don't have. Oh, by the way, actually, let me look. Does Apple? Where's Apple have? Do we get anything for Apple? Do we got anything for Apple, Chubbs? Oh, wait, Chubbs, I got another indicator I want to look at. Oh, Apple is about to print a bearish indicator. Hold on. It was the 2-day MACD for Bitcoin that makes it bearish. Is it red? Oh, not yet. Oh, we get another candle in 2 hours. Yeah, so tonight you want to watch the 2-day MACD. If it turns red, there's an increased probability that we're going down. It's not guaranteed, but everything in this game is probabilities. And a red MACD is not bullish. Every time we get a red MACD, the price goes lower. With the exception of this. So in the last year, only one time did the price not go lower. November 6th, 36K. This guy's extra bearish. Extra bearish. $740 for Ethereum. That might be too low, in my opinion. The lowest I can see it going is 1100. Maybe back to the low at 1000. I think you would have to know more about ETH BTC, which maybe you do. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying in general. You'd have to know what ETH BTC is going to do. Because ETH BTC going back down 25% and then Bitcoin going down 30%. Does that mean ETH goes down by 55%, or is that not how it works? Yeah, but even then it would be 900. Yeah, I think 700 is too low, unfortunately. Maybe you're right, but I don't have evidence to support that 700 is possible. Oracle stock, there are garbage. JK says, get up, boy. If this plan comes back, if this plan plays out, I'm gonna go back to my old ways. Chinese food and wrestling. Get up, boy. Get up, boy. Not to mention, gentlemen, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Don't forget about this either. Not only did we just get a 2-week sell signal for the S&P 500, but August and September are historically the worst months. And I believe August just closed. Did August close green or red? Get up, boy. Oh, August was green. Yeah, we had a green August or July. We're at that point, gentlemen. Good luck to you all and the 3 ladies. We are very, very close. The next, and here's the thing, gentlemen and the 3 ladies. You got to remember that if history is going to repeat itself, Bitcoin is going to spend a lot of time below the realized price. You got people saying we're going to start going up soon after the bottom forms. Not so fast. I see a lot of YouTubers saying we're going to start moving up. We got to spend some time down here, Charlie. I'm sorry. 200 days. 130 days. And the other one was nuts. So I can't start accumulation until we break this level. If we break it in September, that would be nice. Then we could start accumulation from September until January. That lines up. But people that are thinking we're going to go up in December, that ain't happening. I'm sorry. It's impossible. The only way that's possible is if we break 53,000 in August. Then I'll be open to it. Which I guess I got to take back impossible. If we're at 52,000 in August, then we should go up in January. So you can mark your calendar for this. I'm not saying I'm going to be right, but according to historical data, accumulation begins with a break of the realized price. That's how it's been forever and ever. And we can speculate the bull market's about to start. Here, I'm going to give you guys some heat. This hit us spitting heat. When the short-term hold to realized price starts to curl up, we could start being bullish. So first, it has to cross below the red to mark the bottom range, not the absolute bottom. And then when it crosses back up, we're bullish. Not financial advice, but it's been that way forever and ever. Every time you saw a bull start, the bull market started. That is a not financial advice statement. Bullish says I can't type. I meant to say look at Oracle stock. They're in debt. Yeah, AI sucks. But I don't think the bubble popped yet. I think there's going to be one more big AI pump in 2028. Think about it, man. All of these big-ass companies are just now investing. They don't even have robot girlfriends yet. Dude, they need to combine the AI with the freaking metaverse. Right? You spend $10,000 on an artificial husband. You plug him into the universe. You plug him into the metaverse. But, like, you perform real tasks. But because you're wearing VR goggles, you can't tell the difference. Dude, who's going to make those robots? Tesla? Think about it. If you're a single man, you're 50, it happens, man. I could be one of those people too. I'm not saying anything wrong with that. But let's just say you're 50, you have no kids, no wife, nothing. Maybe you're a woman, no kids, no husband, nothing. You know, I got a robot to sell you, 10 grand a pop. Robot husband, 10 grand. You want kids, they're 15 grand because the chips are more responsive. Right? You spend 50 grand on a family of robots, then you download Meta and you give them all family chips and you wear VR goggles and that's it. That's your new life. You know, some people like that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But you guys don't think we're going to get to that point? I already doom scroll on YouTube and I see people pretending to be race car drivers driving F1 cars with their car simulators. What's the difference? I would never find joy in that. I like driving my car like a lunatic. Not that I do, but I'm just saying, not financial advice. But I get the adrenaline from the adrenaline is from the danger. There's no danger when you're driving in a simulated car. Did I ever tell you guys the story that I was going to run a red light? This was recently too, and I never run red lights because I'm a model citizen. But I was like, fuck it, man. I just want to get out of here. The light was red and I was just going to go through it. And I saw a car that had no headlights. And those little cocksuckers always drive their cars with no headlights. It was a police officer, and they had police officers on both. It was an intersection, and there were police officers on both sides. Dude, my heart exploded out of my chest. I slammed there was the first time in my life I actually slammed on the brakes and I came to a full stop. But that's where the adrenaline is. It's the danger. But anyway, you guys don't think they're going to have that? They're going to sell robot humans, like robot family members? You guys don't think we could invest in the AI stocks? I don't think the bubble popped yet. I think we got one more drop. Yeah, but if I'm wrong and it just goes, then it's over. But I'm okay with that. Listen, I've made peace with it. I've made peace with it if we just go like this and I just never get in. I'm okay with that. I'll have to buy Michael Saylor's farming machine. Shout out to Mr. Meowsis who coined the term farm. We're all getting farmed by Michael Saylor. Dude, I'm in a good mood today. Today's a big fucking day, man. I'm sorry to let the F-bombs fly. I'm kind of like high on hopium a little bit. Dude, today is a big day. We just got two of the biggest sell signals we can ever get. And I still see people on YouTube saying that it's bullish. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm trusting my Moonboy chart. Every time I didn't listen to my Moonboy chart, I got wrecked. When I did listen to it, I made a lot of money, but I gave it all back. Now I'm listening to it, and it says to me, we still could have one more push left, but the time for the push is shrinking. We're really starting to dwindle down here. We're really starting to cut it close. We should have gone up by now. I really think we should have gone up by now. The problem I'm having is it's not a bull trap because it was never bullish to begin with. In order to have something be considered a trap, you have to have the other side flip. I don't think any bears actually flipped here. I mean, I'm sure some of them did. I guess some of them did. But the real bears, not the fake bears. The real bears don't get nervous until we break 68K. So until we break 68K, it was never bullish to begin with. So I don't think it's a trap. It's just bearish. Now, what I have to be open to, maybe it never fucking, sorry, I didn't mean to use the F-bomb. Now it's kind of, when someone uses the F word too much, it's definitely annoying and it's cringe. I didn't mean to do it that time, I'm sorry. But I have to be open to the possibility that maybe we come down, then this comes down, then we tag it, and then we go down. That's also possible. I do think we have to hit it, but only because it always has. Even in 2022, we came up above it before we went down. So if we never break this moving average, it was never bullish. Like when we come up here, it's like, oh, wow, maybe we're bullish this time. Oh, wow, maybe we're bullish this time. Like we don't even think it's bullish. I've had bear FOMO this whole time. Like I keep getting nervous it's just going to take a shit. And I never once thought to myself, oh man, it might go up. I will feel that way once it breaks this moving average. But if we never break it, then I never feel it. So some people would say, oh, that's why it's not going to happen. But if it never happens, then it was never bullish. And if it was never bullish, then it's bearish. But we know it's bearish. So where is the, oh, maybe it's not bearish? It has to break this. Maybe it doesn't. It always has. Maybe it doesn't. But my issue is, if it was going to happen, it should be happening right now because of our Moonboy chart. So maybe it doesn't happen. Or maybe we go down and then we bounce and then we go down. Is that even possible? That's not possible. I don't know. Tough call. I would have preferred if we would have just went up, but obviously that didn't happen. Would I buy that 30K Bitcoin miner? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Day 94 of claiming you're my real dad. There's a probability I'm probably not old enough to be your dad. There's always a chance that I'm actually younger than you, but... Yeah, whatever happened to Senpai? Does anybody remember what happened to Senpai, the Romanian grifter? No, I wasn't a grifter. He was a good kid, even though he's older than me. Does anybody remember what happened to Senpai? I think it made him so angry that he's older than me. What was his other name? No. Oh, his name was No Name. It was No Name. He had another name too. I can't remember what it was. No Name. Senpai. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember his name. Yeah, how's Rob G doing? I think he was here the other day. Shout out to Rob G, man. Rob G's a good guy. Yeah, those days are long gone, man. I still can't believe my own Discord server turned on me. That's nuts. We could have been a big family. That's all right. My friends in real life turned on me too, so can't be shocked. I guess I'm the problem. At some point in life, when everything crumbles, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror. That's what I learned a couple months ago. Maybe I'm the problem. Did the hack send it down? What hack? It's time to shut up and enjoy the ride the Rock is taking you on. Yeah, the Rock isn't a part of the family anymore. It's a sad day. Colin talks about business cycles. I don't know anything about the business cycle, unfortunately. I think everybody has their own way, and you can arrive to the same conclusion from different paths, just like life. I've accepted that some YouTubers are just better than me and they're gonna always be better than me. They're always gonna grow more. But I'm okay with that because I'm over the hill. Now I just want to focus on making money. And if Ben Cohen thinks the business cycle is why we're bearish, maybe he's right. We don't know. But why we go down is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is if we go down. And my Moonboy chart says it's time to go down soon. The month of August was in the back of my mind since 2023. I always said, I wonder what's going to happen in August of 2023. Oh, you know why? Because I just answered my own question. Yeah, I just turned ultra bearish. I was a believer that the Moonboy chart was going to call the top in Q1. That's why I was getting nervous. So when we were back here, I told myself the bull market should be starting back here. But here's the problem. This was not the top. And when we finally went up like this, that was when the Moonboy chart broke. And because we made another all-time high, that was when I realized that this was going to be the bull trap. And I didn't know what was going to happen in August, but I always said to myself, once August passed, it's time to be bearish again. And I told myself that since December, and August is about to pass. So somehow, if we're still below 63,000 by August 10th, somehow we have to go from 63,000 all the way down to 40,000 in 2 months. And the only way to do that is to pull the rug. Dude, this rug pull is going to be biblical. Fucking A. Right? Like, what am I not seeing that people are bullish? I get the coins in loss. I get it. That's fair. The RSI is bullish, huh? Chris for 5 says, did the CME close on a higher low? I appreciate the 5. Yes, so Chris, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the CME closes anymore. I was told that the CME trades 24/7 now. I don't know if that's true. But I'm not sure what you mean by close on a higher low. It's the lowest close we've had since July 14th, and the wick is a lower low. Did we close higher than this? Yes. Did we close higher than this? No. We closed lower. It's a lower low on the wick, it's a lower low on the close, it's a higher low on the close to wick. So I'm not sure what you meant. Oh, the monthly candle? The monthly candle didn't close yet. Jabron. Oh, we get a new monthly candle today. You're right. I didn't even think of that. I went all in on Doge. Yeah, does anybody remember back in the old days, there was someone in the Discord server that said he collects bottles and he lives in a tent. And he was all in on Joe something. It was Joe Biden. I think it was Joeing. Like, I don't know if that story was true, but there was a Joe Biden airplane. Joeing. Yeah, maybe Joeing. What is the name of the airplane? 747, right? But it would have popped up if I typed it in. Does anybody know what happened to that guy? Or was that story made up? Yeah, we get another monthly candle today. That's a good thinking there, Patrick. I didn't think of that. Oh, I wonder if this is gonna pull back. But I appreciate the 5 from Chris, but the monthly candle didn't close yet. So I don't know what you mean by high or low. I don't know what you mean by high or low. What exactly do you mean? You say, I actually haven't been watching Chris Hansen. I haven't watched him in a while. I don't know what you mean by high or low. We closed higher than the prior month, yes. But we did not close above the prior low from March. So you know there is always a chance that August has another pump and then we go down. Kind of like what happened here. There's always that possibility. But I remember telling you all that the bear market only has so many green candles. We just used 3 of them. In 2020, okay, in 2022 there was 4. So maybe there is another bullish month. 2018 there was only 2. We already have 3. And in 2014 there was 2. Oh, there was 3. Yeah, I can't believe there's only 2 months left. Oh, baby. Dude, we made it. We made it through to the end. There's only 2 months left. Guys, what's the plan, man? We gotta change. I'm changing over to the stock team. I'm changing over to the stock squad. Squad leader. I don't know, is 400% enough from December to December? Not really. Probably better off buying MSTR. Grease Monkey for 2 says oil and cup handle playing as we speak. I appreciate the 2. Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying oil is bullish. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to take a stab. I think oil comes back down. Every market cycle has ended with oil coming down. I believe oil comes down. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I said earlier in the year that I think oil comes down, so at least it came down originally. I thought it would hit $69 by the end of the year. But you know what? I'm willing to go against the herd. I think oil comes down. I don't give a shit about the war. I don't give a shit about Donald Trump. Every single time Bitcoin capitulates, oil comes down. So I think oil comes down. I don't know what the reason is. It doesn't matter to me. If I had to guess by the end of the year, oil, or maybe it's January or whatever, but I think oil comes back down. But you know what? If I'm wrong about that, I'll be okay with that. You know, I'll be okay with that because I have no money attached to oil. I don't really care. If Bitcoin goes to 40K and oil goes to $150, I don't give a shit. Congratulations to the oil moon boys. But I actually think oil comes down here. Why? Because again, every single time Bitcoin goes down to the bottom, oil crashes. But I appreciate the 2 from Grease Monkey. He says cup and handle. I'm not a shape guy, so I can't really comment on that. We do have a downtrend approaching. And we also have a 618 approaching. So I think your cup and handle could be playing out with a break above 95. So I'm not a cup and handle guy. I don't know what that is. Oil is technically bullish above 76. So your cup and handle gets confirmed with a break above 95. However, a double top at the 618 would confirm we're bearish, in my opinion. But I appreciate the 2. But yes, a cup and handle, again, I don't know what that is. I've heard of it, but I'm not going to pretend to know. A breakout over 95 would send you much higher. So even if we come up to 104, I still think it comes back down. I know that's a bold prediction by some standards, but I don't know. I don't think the news matters. I get it does in the intraday swings, but we had sell signals up here and it was bearish. I don't know. Do we have sell signals? Probably not. We probably have buy signals. Oh, we already had them. We got one sell signal, but the weekly time frame is what I was referring to. We had a red dot on the weekly time frame. That was ultra bearish. Yeah, there's no red dots. Maybe the rally is not over yet in the smaller time frame. But once we come back up here, I think the top forms. But I could be wrong about oil. I'm not an oil guy. I just, from what I see and the historical references that I have, that's how I make my decisions now. I don't let my opinion get in the way. Oil has always triggered the crash. So if it's different this time, then maybe oil doesn't go down. Because the same thing happened, the same thing literally happened last year. Or last time. Russia invaded Ukraine, everybody shit themselves over the oil, and then for no reason at all, it took a shit. Oh, well, Trump drained the US reserves, that's why it went down. Okay, well, Trump's going to do something again to make it go down, in my opinion. That's all I have to say. Not financial advice. But if oil goes to 150, we can come on here and say you're a fucking idiot. And I'll be like, yeah, you're right. But at least I got my Bitcoin at 30K. Let's see what happens, man. This is a very exciting time. Do you guys feel excited or no? Let me run a poll. I'm actually excited. Yeah, but Russia was shipping out oil. Again, I don't know what the news is. I don't follow it. I'll be honest, I don't follow politics. It's very narcissistical, but I don't give a shit about anything that has nothing to do with my life. I know I shouldn't say that on the stream, but it's true, man. I'm being honest with you. If it doesn't affect me, I don't care. You know why I say that? Because if I'm in a hospital bed dying, the world doesn't give a shit about me either. And that's just the truth. Is that the best way to think about it? Of course not. It's very ego. I wouldn't say it's egotistical. I just don't care. And I definitely would say that's not a good way to view it, but that's just how I view it. When I'm in a bad spot, the world says go fuck yourself. So you know what? Tell the world go fuck itself. So I don't know what the news and the loop. I'm not in the loop. But if I just look at what has always happened as human behavior does repeat itself, based on what I see, the price of oil should come back down here. Maybe it takes a little. I'm not saying it can't go like this. Maybe it does. But at some point, I think it comes down here. Like, not some point in like 10 years. I think at some point in the not too distant future, it's back down here. Whether it's because the war ends, because Trump drains the US reserve, because Putin sends the oil over, because Jesus airdrops it, I don't know. But I think by maybe Christmas or earlier, it's back down here. Now, I could be wrong about that. I'm openly telling you I could be wrong about that because I'm not an oil guy. But when we were up here, I made the argument that it should come back down here without looking at any news, and it did. And I'm not saying that I was right about that. I'm just saying that the chart said it should come back down. Now, I understand that the oil people are saying it's bullish, and I get it. But the Bitcoin people are saying not so fast, Spanky. Whenever the world takes a shit, oil takes a shit. You took a shit on the back of the bus. Right? Even 2008, oil took a shit on the back of the bus. So I don't know what the reason is, but I'm expecting, again, maybe in the short term, oil does go up from your cup and handle. Maybe it does. I'm not even disregarding it, but I don't think we're going to be paying $7 for gas forever. Something's going to happen to send it back down. Again, it's always possible it comes down and then pops back up again and it just goes like this. I mean, that's what it's been doing. The price of oil hasn't really budged in 10 years, with the exception of the extreme in 2016 and 2020. But this didn't last very long. Over the course of a 15-year stretch, staying down here for a year and a half and then a year and a half, that's 3 years out of 15 years. That's not long at all. Chudwack Bailey, welcome back, man. My man. Did you change back? I thought you were bullish. Now you're saying Bitcoin's going to 40K? Weren't you talking shit last time? Now you're agreeing with us? What happened, Mr. Chadwick? Who's Chadwick Baldwin? Why does that sound familiar? Is that the guy that played the superhero? Oh, it's Bozeman. Yeah, close enough. Who's Baldwin then? Is that a person? This guy doesn't. He's on ESPN. I don't know who that is. Trump has less than 2 weeks before he has Congress to approve. To approve what? I don't know. I think we're getting close. I'll admit this is the first time in a couple months I'm getting excited. The last time I was excited was back here. Because in the back of my head, I said to myself, if we're still down here, it's fucked. And we were fucked. And over here, I was unsure. But I always said to myself, if we're still down here in August, it's fucked. And now we're down here in August. So it's time. Who says that? It is time. It's time. And I have to reiterate this, gentlemen and the two ladies. I'm not saying I'm going to be right. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to sound arrogant as if I'm 100% right. I'm not. I am only basing what I see based off of the historical evidence that I see. Somebody has to be wrong. Either the Moon Boys are wrong or I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll live. Because that means the 4-year cycle is broken. And I've done everything in my power over the course of 2023 and 2024. I checked everything. I literally checked everything for why the 4-year cycle would break, and it still didn't break. So I have no reason to believe it's going to break, especially when the Moon Boys are using the same exact argument that I used. The bullish divergence was the same bearish divergence that I saw, but it didn't matter. We made another high. So I have no reason to believe we're going up. You have successfully brainwashed me. I don't know. You're not Larry B, right? We banned Larry B. And Larry B was around when you weren't here. Yeah, this gentleman says we are at the bottom for sure. I think people in America are cooked either way. So he lives in another country. Ben Cohen is going to be wrong. Oh, I guess he doesn't say that. Yeah, this guy doesn't actually say anything too bad, actually. Welcome, Mr. Chudwick. Yeah, he joined 9 months ago. This is it, guys. Crypto Meowicist says I'm wrong if I think the bottom's in October. Thanks for playing. Thanks for playing. This is it, lads. You got a shot. You got a real shot. Yeah, unfortunately, Crypto Crew University is kind of tucking his tail a little bit. He's like not giving any bottom predictions. You know, he's kind of dancing around it, saying bull run is coming. I can't even watch him anymore. I was a big fan of Mr. University, but he's gone ice cold. Just like I went ice cold in May, but now we're fucking back, baby. When the chat turned against me, we said, I think there's going to be a relief rally. And we got it. This is it, baby. It's time. Now is the time to get hot. You got to get hot now. This is it, man. There's a lot of YouTubers that think we're going up. I don't care what you guys say. Just because Ben Cowan says we're bearish doesn't mean everybody thinks we're bearish. Somebody sent a super chat before saying very respectable TA guys on Twitter are saying the bottom is in. The bottom, this is it, man. I know exactly where we are. We're right here. I was so happy. I was like, yeah, man, we're chilling. The bottom is in. And then we took a shit. And when we were back here, I remember people on YouTube were like, yeah, man, we're chilling. The bottom is in. But I said to myself, something doesn't look right. I'm just going to sit on the sidelines. And then we took a shit. So every time it's like, we're chilling, the bottom falls out. And I'm actually curious, if we go back to those time frames, what were we doing on the stock RSI? We got to get a big time frame. Let's try. Okay, so the 4-day was overbought 2 times. 4-day was overbought here. Yeah, so we're right there. If you're bullish, your time is now. If you're bullish, your time is right now, gentlemen. There's no more excuses. This is it. I'm finally getting excited. I am respecting the bullish momentum. I have to. I have no other options. I must respect the bullish momentum. But once we go down, it's over. Kevin Svensson, I only know who that is because I use his indicator sometimes, but I don't actually watch what he says, no. I've probably watched under 5 minutes over the course of 5 years. I don't know what he's saying. But I know he exists because of his indicator. If he's saying the bottom is in, he's fading his own indicator, which is typically what people do when they're wrong. I had all my indicators that told me to get out, and I said no, and I was wrong. I should have gotten out. So Normally, when you do something the first time, it's usually the right idea. Because to tell you the truth, even though I was screaming, it's different this time, when we were down here, I said, I have to get out here because it's a 4-year cycle. But then when we were here, I said to myself, oh, XRP never made a new all-time high, so we're still bullish. And then I coped all the way down. So even here, I knew I had to get out over here, but I faded it. So I spent all of this time trying to figure out why the 4-year cycle doesn't exist. And it came to the conclusion that the top is going to be right here. But it turns out that what I saw was not the top for Bitcoin. It was the top for everything else, pretty much. Which is still wrong. This was not the top. But because this was not the top, this was the top. And because this was the top, this was the bottom. This was the top. So the bottom has to be here. If the bottom was not here, this would not be the top. There is no... Gentlemen and the two ladies, I want you to say it out loud. There is no reason why this should be the top. Zero. The S&P 500 is up here. The QQQ is up here. The Dow Jones is up here. Even gold. Gold made another all-time high. Don't forget about that, chat. Gold made another all-time high in February. And Bitcoin still took a shit on the back of the bus. The only explanation as to why this was the top is because every 4 years, the top is in the same spot. I tried my best to disprove it. I got destroyed. I told myself here, this is the top. I had a lot of money. I tried to disprove it. No. Now you got a bunch of people doing the same thing that I did here, saying the bottom is in. Maybe they're right, but I think the clock is now starting to tick against them because the bullish momentum is in full effect right now. And the fact that we're not moving, I'm still going to give it respect. Like I said, I'm not going to downplay it, but you can't sit here forever. And it's even worse on Ethereum. It's already been up here. You can't sit here forever. So I tell you this in opinion, a move back down like this is the end. Some people are saying we could go back down and then it's bullish. I don't think so. I think you go down, this thing is done. And the last 2 times that happened, we fell by 48% and 37%. Not to mention this too, don't forget. Bearish. So if you're a moon boy here, you got to go up now. If we go back down at all, I'm going in my bear bunker and I'm not coming back until we go below 50,000. And once we break the low too, it's over. It's done. There's a great reason why crypto is the most speculative asset and it leads the market for selling off risk. So once Bitcoin is done selling off, the markets can be risk on again. Right, but my question is, that's a great hypothesis, but where is the information to support that? That is the question here. If the bottom for Bitcoin is in, why is Bitcoin not going up when everything else is? Well, now gold isn't either because gold is in a bear market, but gold is bearish with Bitcoin. A ton of liquidity building up in the 60K range. I hope we go up one more time. I hope we go up one more time, but I don't know if we will. I don't know if we will. Piece of monkey trash for 2 says SC checking in. F crypto. Dude, I thought you already sold your Dogecoin, man. Doge is dead. It's over. I'm not even going to look at it next market cycle. I'm thinking about making a little show. I don't know. Maybe next market cycle, I want to make a little show where I read you guys the news and I wear a nice dress shirt and be like everyone else. Today, Trump says peace deal, and then tomorrow, today, Trump says he's attacking, and then tomorrow, Trump says peace deal. And you guys love that shit. It's easier for me. I don't have to make any predictions. And then for the members, I'll make charts and shit. Late 25, you said once you're waiting for 50K drop, we'll buy it. No, you haven't been watching the stream for the last 12 months. I appreciate the support, Mr. Pasture Project. But you can watch any of the last streams for the last 2 months, and that'll give you an update on the plan. I appreciate the feedback. You only have 4-year cycle of Bitcoin? Yes, correct. That was the mistake that we made. We all assumed that the 4-year cycle applied to everything else, but it only applies to Bitcoin. That was a powerful and very expensive lesson that I learned. And the other thing I learned is the stock market doesn't have a cycle. It just goes up forever. So I'm done trying to guess what coin is going up. I'm just going to pick a fucking stock and get in. It's like choosing a Pokemon. You want to pick Squirtle, which is the QQQ because it's round like a turtle. You want to pick, I guess the Dow Jones is like, I don't know. The Dow Jones kind of sucks. What kind of Pokemon would the Dow Jones be? Snorlax? Yeah, look, it only went up 82%. Yeah, the Dow Jones had its day, man. Oh my gosh, look at that. The QQQ almost, no, it did. The QQQ performed twice as good as the Dow Jones. Yeah, the Dow Jones is rubbish, man. The S&P is rubbish too. I'm a QQQ kind of guy. If Bitcoin was digital gold, it would have ran when gold did. It's purely speculative tech. Yeah, but I remember in 2017 where Peter Schiff said it was a bubble, and he was right, but then it came back. So whatever it is, it's here to stay. I wish I made better financial decisions, but I think everyone who's poor says the same thing. That's why I'm not saying it anymore. If we come back down here and my semiconductors don't come back for me, then I'm gonna have to buy shitty crypto. But even MSTR says it's almost time to go down. I'm getting excited. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited. Dude, we're still down here. We're still down here, guys. And we have everything we asked. We have every single thing we asked for. We got the second chill guy pump. We got Dogecoin doing nothing. We got the Shiba pump. We even got the freaking Shiba pump for crying out loud. We already got it, you fucking gabagool babushka. Sorry, I really gotta stop with the foul language today. You fucking bastard. We already got the Shiba pump. We already got it. You were so greedy. We didn't get the Pepe pump, though. We just missed it. Maybe we still have it. But we got everything we asked for. Ondo had a pump. We got everything. Avalanche didn't do shit. Avalanche is dead. XRP is a dead dog. We talked about all of this. We're getting exactly what we asked for. This is it, guys. I think we're freaking close. I think we're really close. I am getting a little bit excited, but I'm also upset that it didn't go to my price target of 68,000. But maybe it still can. I'm not giving up. But I'm also not going to tell you that it will. Because my whole year, I said to myself, I don't know what's going to happen in August. But once we pass through August, there's no reason to be bullish. And the fact that it did nothing, the fact that it made a lower low before August told me that it was bearish. If we made a higher low here, maybe I would have been a little bit more nervous. But the fact that it's a lower low, that's it. In my opinion, again, I'm not saying I'm going to be right. Now, whoever's listening, if you're a crypto, what do they call them? The market makers. If you're a crypto whale and you can move the market, please, it'll be Christmas like a young 10-year-old waking up saying, oh my God, I got a ripstick. Can you please dump the tether? Okay, if you're listening out there and you move the market, in 2018, they spoon-fed. They said, here you go, fat boy, eat up, you fat bastard. And the tether took a shit before Bitcoin did. That would be the ultimate Gerber baby spoon feed. Here you go, you fat piece of shit. Eat up. Please, if you're watching the stream. If Tether goes down, it's bearish. In 2022, Tether went down with Bitcoin, so we didn't get spoon-fed. Right now, we're getting spoon-fed a little bit. I think I got disconnected. Oh, my stream is frozen. My stream died. Hello? My stream is frozen. Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? Hello? We got Senor Anthony for 5. Says, thanks for the entertainment and the live streams. I hope you hit your goal next cycle. I appreciate the 5 from Mr. Anthony. I hope you all hit your goal. But believe it or not, I actually don't have a goal yet. I have a plan for the end of the bear market, and whatever happens there sets the next phase of the plan in motion. But I actually have a plan that is very doable if we get this first leg down. But the beautiful thing about this is it no longer relies on the old season. I guess I kind of have a plan, but I don't have a number. That's what I would say. I don't have a goal number. I'm just going to take what the market gives me and try and make as much money as I can. Because I learned that whenever I hit my number, I always raise it. And that's where I get greedy and lose all my money. So this time around, I'm actually planning my trades. Not that I'm taking trades, of course, not financial advice, but I'm making my goal based on the price action, not the number. So in other words, I'm going to try and make as much money as I can when Bitcoin goes from, let's just say, 40K to 80K. So I can try and break it down. I like using this chart because it reminds me to stick to the plan. You guys might not believe me, but I made this chart in December when we were in the orange box. Some of you may remember this, some of you may not. But I made this when we were in December. And the fact that we're down here and we're almost in the green box reminds me that the plan is going to work. So my plan is going to be when MSTR comes into this green box, this is my plan to accumulate. I don't know if I'm going to buy MSTR. I don't know if I'm going to buy stocks. I don't know because I don't know what the S&P is going to do. If the S&P really does have a 25% drawdown, I'm probably not buying this. If it doesn't, then I might have to. But my plan would be try and make as much money as I can by this. Because once we get in here, the price should go sideways. And then if we're still in this box, my plan is going to be make as much money as I can by here. Whereas last market cycle, my problem was, oh, I have to make 200,000, which is really sad because as you might remember, if you were around, whoever's here, when we were down here, I had nothing. I literally had no money. Like I had lint in my belly button. And I said to myself, oh gosh, if I hit X amount of dollars, I'm going to be so happy. I hit that exact number right here. And it wasn't enough. I pulled off a miracle. My net worth did I'm not even going to say the number, but it did over a 100x. And just from trading, I was getting a 5x, 2x, 50% gain here, 50% gain there. I didn't get one move that was more than a 5x. And my problem was when we got to my number, oh, now I need 3 million. And that's where I went wrong. This time around, my plan is going to be just make as much money as I can with no number in mind because the number is the trap. And I have to exercise risk management, meaning if I make X amount of dollars on this, I have to take a lot of it out and start over with a little bit. Then make a lot of money here, take a lot of it out, and start over with a little bit. Because here's the thing. This MSTR chart is based on the prior market cycles. We now have 2 data points that suggest that MSTR should actually top first. If it was only going to happen once, then it would have been a coincidence. The fact that it happened 2 times in a row makes me believe that this is going to play out. And the fact that I made this in November and it looks like it's about to play out, I have to stick to the plan. And my plan is no matter how much money I have, I must exit by December of 2028. Just like I told myself I have to exit here and I didn't listen, I have to listen this time. Because if we're in this purple box, it's the top. Because this purple box is only designed for the top. And if we're in it, it has to be the top. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but I do have faith in it because as you can see, I promise you, I drew this in December. I thought that we were going to be down here, so clearly I was incorrect. But you can see that the box is in the exact spot that it should have been. It was just too low, which means that there's a possibility this is in the right spot, but maybe it's too high. Maybe it needs to be lower. I don't know. But I'm not using it for the price. I'm using it for the time. And this chart tells me, you can see specifically there's an orange line here. Once the orange line passes, it's time to go down. And we're about to pass through. And you can actually see that if you simply take the prior bear market and overlay it to where we are, you can actually see that it's pretty damn close. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. For a freaking cutout, it's almost doing the exact same thing. So if I had to guess, I do think we turn bearish after August 3rd or August 10th. I'm open to an August bullish push in the first week. Doesn't have to happen, but I'm open to it. But once we pass through here, I'm turning bearish until October. So anyway, to wrap up the soliloquy, I learned my lesson to not set numeral goals, because here's the problem. If it's time to get out, but you didn't hit your goal, you're not going to get out. That was my number one lesson. I had enough money here. Well, maybe not December. It was the night of the Drake stream. Whenever Drake streamed, that was when I had the most amount of money. I was 25,000 short of what I had here, which is more than like 25,000. It's a lot of money when you don't have it, but the amount of money that I had, it was like 25,000 wasn't enough to like, it wasn't enough to lose everything. I should have just got out. But my net worth peaked in July of 2024, and then it made a lower high by 25,000 on the Drake stream, because I remember I turned like 20 grand into 100, and then I watched it go all the way back down because I didn't get out. And that's what everybody says. Oh, I didn't get out. So I learned my lesson to not set a number, but when it's time to get out, no matter what you have, it's time to get out. So I didn't mean to turn it into soliloquy, but I would say to everyone, not financial advice, but don't fall in love with the number, fall in love with the signs. And if the signs tell you it's time to get out, no matter if your goal was not hit or if it was hit, it's time to get out. I'm not saying my chart is going to be right. Maybe your chart says something else. But if you have a plan, do not base your plan off of a set amount of money. Base your plan based off of what the chart is telling you to do. And that's a very expensive lesson that I learned. And I appreciate the 5, not financial advice. Thanks for playing. There was one more thing I wanted to look at. We measured a bunch of things here. We measured the halving to the bottom. We measured halving to the... Wait, I'm going to think of it again. Did I measure halving to top? We did. Bottom to halving. No, bottom to top we did. It had to do with the halving. Halving to the top, halving to the next bottom. What if we do halving to the next top? What if we do that? That's a little bit of a stretch. But if, no, there's not enough data for that. This one was 1953. Oh, shit. You gotta be kidding me. There is, look, 1960. Okay, so this top should be in August then. Oh, you motherfucker. Yeah, dude. I think the next top is going to be in August. Maybe August or September. Yeah, maybe it is September because dude, we went from December to November to October. And then this one went from January to December to November. So if this, listen to me, if this bottom is actually in October, then it is a simulation. And there are some people that have been saying that, and props to them. I'm going to give those people props. But if we really do bottom in October, then this whole thing is just some bullshit simulation. And it can keep playing out because every single time there are people who say it's different this time. I was one of the people that said it was different. That's why now when you guys come in here telling me, oh, these people are bullish, they're saying the same exact thing that I said. That's why I don't believe it. If we really do bottom in October, why would you not want it to repeat? That's like saying, here's a gift for free money. Do whatever you want with it. And we just say no. And the reason why I didn't want it to play out was because I didn't want to be the age that I'm at and have to wait that long. But unfortunately, I'm there anyway. And that's how life goes, man. I'm starting to sober up now because my hopium is wearing off. This whole stream, I was high on hopium. Man, if I look back on my life since crypto, if I would have just did it right the first time, I would have such a different life. But that's not how it works. You don't get to go back. And the thing that's sad is this shit is getting smaller. So if you mess this one up too, I don't think it's going to work anymore. I think this is the last bull run worth showing up to. 10x, 16, and then 7. Well, this is 100x. Yeah, I don't think this bull run, this next bull run is going to be the last one, man. This is it. We have to get this right. And you know what? I understand the argument why some people would say, why would we listen to you if you're poor? And I agree with you. I wouldn't listen to a poor person either. But the thing that I tell myself, which is why I still do this, is because it's not like I've been here and I never made any money. The first time I was in crypto, I had the most amount of money I ever had. I lost it all. The second time I actually hit the goal I had. I had a goal down here. I said to myself, I want to hit X amount of dollars. I hit it. And then when we got up there, I said, I want more. And then I gave it all back. And then when we were here, I told myself, I want a specific number. And then I hit it. And then I said I wanted more, and I gave it all back. And my net worth here was higher than it was here. And my net worth here was higher than it was here. So while I don't actually have physical proof, in my head, I know I can do it because I did it twice already. Now, the good news is if we get this right and the bottom is where we think it is, then the amount of money I had here was more, or I guess here technically was more. And if we get this right, it would be exponentially higher. So now that I have a set plan, I actually think I got a shot this time. And what did I learn from 2023? Keep your damn mouth shut. Don't tell anybody anything. Don't tell anybody a thing. You guys think I'm buying SOXL, but that was all part of my plan. I can't tell you guys my actual plan. So, my only not financial advice to people would be don't tell anyone what you're doing because it always backfires. It always backfires. That would be my not financial advice for the year. What's your plan to stay level-headed when the greed comes creeping back in? I'm going to remember that in September of 2025, I almost died because my heart was going to give up on me because I realized I was about to lose all my money. And I learned that you're never too big to fail. But I'm also going to respect the environment that I was playing in. If I'm actually playing in the stock market, and this is the peace of mind that I'm going to take to the grave because I can't do this shit anymore. If you're playing with the stock market, of course you can lose all of your money. There's no question. The difference is in 2022, it took 350 days to lose all of your money, and then you got it right back. For us, it took, how long did it take? A month? For some of us, we lost all of our money in 1 month. How many people had PopCat? Just, it was GG's, brother. Literally GG. 92%. Like, this shit doesn't happen in the stock market. That's what I realized. And that's why I think I have a chance. Because my brain has already learned how it feels to lose money. I had to hold through this like a moron. So that doesn't happen here. It just goes up. That's why this is such a beautiful thing to me. Yes, of course, it's not going to go up a 100x, but I've been here for 10 years and I never got a 100x. So when am I going to wake up and accept it's never going to happen? I actually woke up last market cycle And even though my net worth technically did more than a 100x, I personally didn't get a 100x. So I just have to take what I learned from 2024 and apply it to the stock market. And if I do get to a number that seems too good to be true, I have to take a moment and realize that this money can disappear. However, because it is the stock market, it will be significantly harder to lose it all because you don't have 90% corrections in 1 month. It's almost impossible. Right? This thing fell by 80% over the course of a few days, multiple times. That doesn't happen here. They do happen. You do get 70% corrections, but then it goes back up. And when it doesn't go back up, it typically means you're in a bear market. So because we know that the 4 years, well, assuming the bear market continues, if we do know that it's a 4-year cycle, we can probably start to guess, okay, there's a time to be greedy and there's a time to not be greedy. The problem is when I was making all of that money, I was ignoring that everything was overheated. So my answer to you would be this, instead of giving you a soliloquy: look at what everything else is doing. If you made a lot of money, but everybody else also made a lot of money, it's probably time to get out. Like, I remember I made a couple of bucks, and then Non and Goyen also made $100,000 at the same time. We obviously didn't think anything of it, but that was the top. So if you make a lot of money and you notice the community that you're in is also making a lot of money, it's probably time to stop being greedy. And we actually will have a perfectly planned game plan, because if this plays out, we know exactly when we're going to be greedy. And the time to be greedy is going to be early springtime. And if you have a lot of money and it's the middle of 2027, you're probably going to be better off taking some money out just in case there's a big correction. Because the big correction is supposed to occur between June and September of 2027. Now, if you have a lot of money and it happens to be like the summer of 2028 and the RSI is off the top of the screen, you have to tell yourself this is the top. And that's what I realized. I thought that I was special, so I didn't think it was the top. But people like me, which is retail, typically only make a lot of money when it's the top. So if you make a lot of money on your own and you notice that a lot of stuff isn't really happening, it's probably okay to be greedy. But if you're making a lot of money and the RSI is up here, it's probably best to not be greedy. So to summarize the gibberish that I'm saying, if you have the RSI on your screen, and let's say you hit it big, but the RSI is right here, maybe you could be a little bit greedy. If you make a lot of money and the RSI is here, it's time to go. You take 90% out or 80% out or whatever your number is, and you start over. That's what everybody always told me, and I always said, no, I want to be a millionaire. Now that I just blew all of that money, I know that even if I had $1 million, I can still blow through it. So I would say if you have a lot of money and the RSI isn't really overbought and a lot of coins are kind of doing nothing, then you can probably be greedy, but probably switch coins or switch assets. But if the RSI is on the screen and you're seeing YouTubers have 1,000 viewers in the chat and everybody's talking shit, it's time to not be greedy. And that is why it's so important to not give away your plan. Because normally when you start telling everybody, that is the top. That's exactly what it is. Whenever everybody starts talking shit, it's always the top. So you have to survey the land. If you keep everything to yourself, and you feel like telling people, and you see that the RSI is on the screen and everybody's saying, oh my God, it's probably time to not be greedy. I don't even want to say that stupid shit, be greedy when others are fearful, fearful when others are greedy. Because the reality is, most of the money is made here. Like, some people had nothing. Like me, I literally had dirt. I remember October of 20, dude, I remember, I'm gonna show you guys a personal story. It was September of 2023, and I was on a date, and this girl was a lawyer. And I'm like, dude, she doesn't know I have nothing, dude. Like, I literally had no money at all. And then 3 months or however many months later, I was shopping for cars, and I bought my car, which my car wasn't that expensive, but I still bought it in cash. I went from not even being able to look at anything to buying a car. So that's how fast it changes. So I can't say not to take risks here, but if you do, and that's what I'm trying to say, and that's where I'll end this. If you do have a lot of money up here, your best option is to not be greedy, because you don't really have that much more time before it goes down. So I would say if you have a lot of money and the RSI is up here, don't be greedy. It's easier said than done, but you know what I learned from this market cycle? If you just don't open your mouth, it's a lot easier. Because I'll tell you guys another little story too, and that's why I know I have to keep my mouth shut. I remember talking on the phone with somebody. I said, dude, I got 10 grand, or maybe it was 20 grand. I don't remember what it was, but I had 1 million shares or 10 million shares. Yeah, it was 20 grand. I said, dude, I just put 15 grand on this coin, and Drake's about to stream, and I'm gonna sell it once he streams. But because I told him that, when it actually happened, I didn't actually do it. So I turned 15K into 90,000, and then I watched it go back down. And then of course it did it a second time, but I was already out by then. But if I would have never told him, I probably would have sold it at 7 or 6, and I would have made 40 or 50,000. Because that's what my plan was. I told myself, get in, and when he streams, get out. But then I started looking on Twitter, oh, they're going to have a Drake concert, it's going to go to the moon. And I wanted to be, oh my God, I'm the number 10 wallet, I'm going to be rich. And I looked for validation. And when you look for validation, it's over. So my piece of not financial advice to not get greedy would be a bunch of things. But I would say one of the top things is don't tell anybody what you're doing. Because something happens in your brain where it alters your brain chemistry. Then you start going on Twitter, oh shit, maybe it's gonna go this time. And then look at it. The rest is history. So to summarize, I would say if you have a lot of money from a big trade and the RSI is still down here, you can probably be greedy. If you have a lot of money and the RSI is up here, and you notice that everybody has a lot of money, it's probably time to not be greedy. Because every single time I've ever had a lot of money, a lot of people had a lot of money, and it was always the top. So that's my not financial advice. Not financial advice. $50K is a lot of money because you can reinvest 25K dream. Yeah, don't let anybody tell you that a number is not big enough. Everybody's got a different life. 25,000 is a lot of money. But at the time, it still was a lot of money. But like if you had, like, let's just say you had $500,000. Obviously, I never had $500,000. But let's just say you had $500,000. If you lose $50,000, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money. But when you're there and you still have 450,000, you don't feel it. If you have 50,000 and you lose 25,000, now you're really going to feel it. But I can say that, no, I'll be honest, anything more than 50,000 feels the same. Like if you have 100,000 and you lose 50,000, it feels the same as if you have 150,000 and you lose 50,000. Once you get to 50,000, it's just a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like $50,000 is a lot of money. Now, I've also never been in the big leagues, so like I never had 500,000 before. So maybe if you had 500,000 and you lose 50,000, maybe you don't feel it. But I haven't gotten to a number where 50,000 doesn't hurt. I think it hurts less because I remember yeah, once you get over like 200, I think 50, it still sucks, but it doesn't hurt as bad, but it still hurts. But I never got to a point where I didn't feel it, you know? Because $50,000 is a lot of money, but I guess it depends on who you're asking, right? To me, $50,000 is a lot of money. If you have $1 million, then $50,000 is nothing to you. And that's why I was trying to say, don't let people tell you what's a lot of money and what isn't. It's all based on what you have. If you have $10,000, then $50,000 sounds, oh my God, like that's going to change my life. And it would. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you have 400,000, 50,000 is not going to do anything for you. So it's all about where you are in your financial journey. And God help me, I'm going to make sure I never lose that money again because I don't even know if I ever lost $500,000. I remember in 2021, I said to myself, I hope I never know what it feels like to lose like 250,000. I remember saying that to myself, and now I know, and it's fucking not pleasant, man. It's not. And then there's that troll that says, oh, this guy lies. You know, that guy thinks I lie about this stuff. He thinks I lie about how much money I lost, like it's something to brag about. Yeah, I'm poor. Look at me, I'm bragging about being poor. That guy's a fucking moron. There's nothing good about round tripping your money. You're an idiot. And I am an idiot. I fucked up bad. That's why this time around I'm not saying shit, man. Like that's like literally when we start going down, I'm not even gonna stream until we finish. That's why I was hoping we would have went up first. But I don't know if we are. We might just go down. But my not financial advice would be don't tell anyone anything. Now, I never actually told you guys, but you guys found my wallets by tracking my YouTube wallet, which is something that I wasn't aware of. Because that's what you guys like. You guys like tracking other people, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't know. I would never do that, but I don't use crypto anymore, so, or at least crypto wallets anymore. So it's never going to be tracked. But that would be my not financial advice. Don't tell anyone what you're doing, and you should be fine. But that would be my hopium. My hopium. My hopium high has worn off. Now I'm back to reality. We, you know why I'm back to reality? Because I'm just reliving all of that money I just blew through. Yeah, it is what it is. There's always another chance. The story is making me remorseful of my last 5x. I hesitated selling. I thought you had 2 million. No, I was never close to 1 million. I was never close to 1 million. My net worth peaked when Hoppy peaked. I know this is a story we keep going over. I love thinking about it. Dude, life was so good back here. I shit you not, I was literally eating Chinese food every Monday and pizza every Friday. And then I went to the car dealership right here. And then literally I walked out of the car dealership, and I remember I went to the beach and I said, what the fuck is happening? That I literally said those exact words. I said, what the fuck is going on? Because we went straight down. Straight down. So when you feel like you're on top of the world, oh, that would be my answer too. Whoever asked, how do you not get greedy? When you feel like you're on top of the world and it can't go wrong, that's exactly where it goes wrong. Because if you think about it, the time where everything goes wrong is before it goes wrong. If it's already going wrong, then you're pretty much through the worst of it. So when you get to that moment where nothing can go wrong, that's where the top is. Because I remember driving to the beach and I said to myself, I got too much money to fail, and I lost it all. But again, I really think this time around will be different because I'm not buying this crap. Now, that also means my gains are also going to be limited, but I'm okay with that. I really do think we know much more than we did last time. Because last time was the test run. I don't know if Johnny117 is still here, but Johnny117 laid the foundation that we were building on back here. And the base case was wrong because this was not the top, but we now know how the market reacts. Like back here, it was kind of random. Like you kind of just threw your money in and see if you made any money. We calculated this. I know people might give me shit, but if you were here, we calculated all of this. We knew there was going to be a crash here. We just didn't want to listen. We knew we were going straight up here. We just, I mean, shit. I made a lot of money. Nanangoyan made a lot of money. Dude, John Doe had fucking $100 and then he went all the way to 100 grand. When people like us, we're regular jabronis, when we get a lot of money, the top is in. But I don't think it was luck because we were prepared for it. We knew it was coming. And the reason why it fell apart was because we listened to, or we failed to listen to the plan. I remember telling myself, no matter what, you must exit. And guess what? The no matter what was tested, and I said to myself, how could the bear market be starting if Ethereum didn't make a new all-time high? And I stayed in. This time around, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You must exit. And I think we learned a lesson. We learned a very valuable lesson that just because the 4-year cycle continues doesn't mean that your bull run will continue. And you can look at Pepe as proof of that. Pepe was one of the biggest meme coins, and even Pepe stopped going up after January of 2025. So the Moonboy chart predicted Pepe beautifully, fell in Q1 of 2025. You know? So now we know. And that's why I'm so excited. I'm genuinely getting excited because while some would argue it's luck, I wouldn't. And the fact that it's happening again, where the 4-year cycle says we're bearish, but the Moonboy chart says we're bullish into August, the fact that we were bullish into August, I would have to assume that a dump, once August 13th passes, if we start going straight down, then I know with certainty that this is the top for me. This is the top for Bitcoin, but this is the top for me. There's no other explanation. And I'm not trying to sound cocky because obviously I don't know for sure. Maybe the top is here. But going back to the gentleman's question, I would assume that I should potentially have a lot of money over here. And so will all of you. I'm willing to bet that most of you watching this video right now probably had a shitload of money when this Cutler RSI was overbought. I'm willing to bet you money that the majority of us had a shit ton of money when this indicator was up here. I'm sure some of you had a shit ton of money in April of 2021, and I don't know who was here in November, but I wasn't. I was here in December, and I had the most amount of money I ever had. Every single time my net worth hits a number I never thought it would, it's always when this thing is up here. So I'm going to assume that based on this Moonboy chart, this indicator should be up here, around here. And I'm willing to assume that most of us will have a lot of money right here. And this is why we have to learn, this is where you exit. Because now 2 times in a row, the market top for people like me and you was not the bear market starting. The bear market started here. The bear market started here. That was not the top for us. Well, maybe for some of you it was. And you know how I know that? Because if I take this chart that I'm showing you right now, and I tack on MSTR, look at where the top is. Now on this chart specifically, it looks like the top was in July of 2025, but we know that it wasn't. We know that the top was in Q1 of 2021 and Q1 of 2025, technically even Q4 of 2024. So what we have to do, which is why I can't wait to start being bullish, we have to locate this. If you can locate this, you don't give a shit about the 4-year cycle. If you capture this, you get out and you don't come back until the next bear market. And the beautiful thing about that is if this drop plays out, then we'll know where that is because it's already drawn. We already have it drawn. We should go down in August and September, bottom in October or November, go sideways November, December, January, February, and we should turn bullish in February, which means if we see the price skyrocket from February to June, then we know with certainty that from August to August, at some point, MSTR is going to go straight up. And that's where your alt season is. I don't talk about the bull market because I don't care about the bull market right now. But once we get through this bear market, I am going to spend just as much time. Because we found this, and I don't say that to like be arrogant. A lot of people found it, but we're not a lot of people. We're regular idiots, and we found it. So if we found it once, then we can find it again. And when we find it, that is where you take your money and you run far, far away. And I think it would be better if you just don't tell anyone and you keep it to yourself. That would be the biggest thing that I learned. I don't have to tell everyone. And it's exciting to tell people, oh, I just made all this money. Look at me. It's great. But the reality is nobody really gives a shit anyway because they're worrying about themselves. And that's the truth. If you guys become millionaires, I think that's great, but that has no impact on me. That's why I have to think the same way. Nobody gives a shit if I make money. And that's why I have to keep it to myself. But it is exciting when you make money because you want to tell people. But the moment you feel like telling people is where the top is. So we have a very big 2 months ahead of us, gentlemen and the 2 ladies. If we get this crash down, not only does it complete the bear market, but it opens up the probability that we turn bullish from February to June. So I actually am willing to make the prediction today that in May of 2027, Bitcoin should be between 61 and 80,000. And we're going to come back to this. I'm predicting that Bitcoin is 80,000 to 70,000 in June of 2027. But only if we complete the bear market. And if that's true, then I go all into shit coins or shit stocks. Because let me spit some more heat. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, the S&P 500 is the same thing. It goes vertical. Look at when MSTR went vertical and look at what look at the S&P. Dude, this thing went on a god tear. So everything goes parabolic together. And that's why I'm so excited about this bull run, because I no longer have to gamble on a frog. When I tried to get out of this, everybody tried getting out at the same time. And I lost $25,000 in the fucking hour. And I couldn't believe it. I was so upset. And that's another thing, man. I know I'm gonna make so many different mistakes. I mean, not different mistakes. Sorry, I'm gonna learn my lesson. I'm not doing that shit again. It's almost go time, gentlemen. I'm getting excited now, baby. We're gonna run it back. Run it back, Turbo. All right, there's my soliloquy for today. We're gonna get through this, man. We're gonna get through this. We got Piece of Monkey Trash for 2 at happy hour. Let's see, whiff. Come on, man, whiff. Prophet Bear says, I'm in the same boat. I had 20K on Jesus, watched it go all the way to 233K, then watched it go back to 20K. Yeah, I remember, man. There was you and a couple of guys who got the Jesus pump super early. And some of them they were bullying me. Oh, I never changed my graph, I guess. They were bullying me because I didn't buy it. But I remember this. But we learned a valuable lesson that just because the coin went up last time doesn't mean it's going to go up again. So if you still have your 20 grand, you can definitely get that 200K back. I'm not saying you got to listen to what I'm saying, but if you still have 20 grand and SOXL really does go back to 50 bucks, dude, you're going to go right back to 100,000. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen in a month, but not financial advice, of course. But yeah, I remember the Jesus pump. I didn't have any. I sold it. Whiff for Mr. Cleveland. I think Whiff is on its way to 0. I hope you're not still holding this, man. Yeah, Mr. Cleveland, we're getting ready to enter the deepest part of the bear market, in my opinion. I think Whiff is getting ready to fill this wick. My bold prediction is Whiff comes down to 5 cents, 6 cents. Whiff is looking nasty. Get a whiff of this guy. Whiff is looking nasty. I think it's possible that, again, I'm not an expert, so I don't know anymore, and I can't even tell you confidently because I don't know how much longer this is going to last. Is there always a chance it does spike up again? Of course. If you get that, you have to run for the hills. Not financial advice. Every single time Whiff spikes, it's over. I don't know if we're going to get it. I hope we get it. I really don't hope the top is in yet. I hope there's one more rally. But if you see a spike on Whiff, run for the hills. Not financial advice, of course. Because I think Whiff comes back to this wick here. Like that guy's name was Chudwick Baseman or whatever. Chudwick Ballsman. I forgot what his name was. Baldwin. Chudwick Baldwin. Run for the hills, man. We got to fill this wick. I appreciate the 2 from Happy Hour, Cleveland. Ugh. My sushi went to 1.7 million, then 1.1 million where I cash out, then lost 378K. Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm happy with my performance for the last market cycle. Now that I'm looking back, I have to learn there's no excuses. Every time it's time to get out, I make an excuse. It was time to get out here, and I said, oh, well, XRP never went up, so it's not over yet. And then we went down. Then when we were here, I said, oh, Ethereum didn't make a new all-time high. It's not over yet. And then we went down. There's always a reason why I should stay in, but everything else is telling me to get out. Just like if we go down, you got to remember that there's going to be people that are too bearish too. People think I'm too bearish, but that's their opinion. There's no data. There's no data that says I'm too bearish. If you want to say the coins and loss are saying that the bottom is in and I'm too bearish, I'll tell you that the on-chain Nupal is telling me that I'm not too bearish. And if you're going to tell me the coins and loss is more important than the Nupal, then you're using your bias. I have to respect the argument for the coins and loss. As much as I don't agree with it, that doesn't mean it's wrong. I just don't agree with it. But the coins and loss technically is a valid argument. I have to give it credit. People that are telling me I'm too bearish are ignoring the cost basis, which is fine. That doesn't mean that they're right. They're just ignoring the cost basis. But this is what's so important about this market cycle. For the first time ever, the coins and loss are there without the cost basis. The coins and loss were here in 2011. The coins and loss were here. I mean, shit, not for nothing, guys. This is actually a point for me. In 2014, the coins and loss was here, and we still went down. I didn't want to say it, but that's actually a point for Fat Tone. If you look at the supply and loss, you'll actually see that for the first time, it hit 55%, exactly where we are now. You see how you look on the dotted line? You see how the dot's moving up and down? If you go all the way to the right of your screen, you see how the dot is right where we are now? And you can see it was November 2nd of 2014. We didn't hit the long-term support. We didn't break it. And then the bottom was in later. So that's actually a point for Fat Tone. If we go to 2018, we can see that the Nupal, we're not the Nupal, sorry, we're below the cost basis. And again in 2018, look at where it hit 50% when you're under the long-term hold to realized price. Same thing in 2022. You hit it here in May, but the bottom wasn't in yet. Then we went below the cost basis, and then the bottom still wasn't in yet. And then we bottomed out here, and we were below the cost basis. This is the first time where the coins are saying we're at a supply loss at 50%, which means the bottom is in. In 2022 and 2018, we were below the long-term holder cost basis. In 2014, we were not, and the bottom wasn't in yet. So I will respect that if you look at this, it does say that the bottom is in based on this linear projection. I don't agree with it because I've made my case many times because the tops are getting closer together. So the people who are buying in later are going into loss faster. But if you're only looking at it for what it is and you're not analyzing it, then I can't argue with you. But I would say that every single time we've come to this, we've gone below the cost basis. The only time we didn't, we went much lower, which is what I'm looking for. You can disagree with that, and I can't really say that you're wrong. But this is what I'm looking at. If you think I'm biased to the long-term holder cost basis, that's fine. We'll use the regular cost basis of the market overall. Now, I don't really know how to pull that up on this website because if you just search realized price, it just doesn't show up. I don't know why. Maybe it's realized cap. Oh, maybe it's this. Yeah, I guess it's this. But you can see that we never had it. It didn't happen. So somebody has to be wrong. Either this is wrong or the coins in loss are wrong. I'm not saying who's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's why I disagree with it. Now, I'm not picking this because I want to. And that's the thing too, man. People think people are biased. I'm not biased because I want it to go down. I'm biased because it's down here. If we weren't down here, I wouldn't be saying it should go down. If we were still at 80K, I would say, oh man, we might actually be in a super cycle. But the fact that you're sitting right above the realized price, just like in 2018 and just like in 2014, at the same amount of distance from the top and the halving, and we just got sell signals on the S&P 500 and the semiconductors, I just can't be bullish here. I'm not saying I'm going to be right, but I just can't do it. Somebody has to be wrong. And I am respecting the bullish momentum, but if you're just a straight trader and you don't give a shit about the market cycle, then you have to respect that this shit just crossed down, which means if we don't start pumping soon, it's going to go down. If you treated this as a regular asset and you didn't give a shit about the market cycle, you would say that we got to go up soon. Because when it crosses down, you still go higher. Fair. If that does not occur, look at the size of the move down. And you can't tell me that we're going to go back down. The stock RSI is going to roll over and then we're going to go up again. That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. That's not even a biased statement. Like, if I see the stock RSI go like this, I can't even entertain the idea that it's bullish. If you think we're right here when this literally skyrocketed, I think this is an important point that I brought up the other day. And this is where I end the stream because this is extremely important. Some people think momentum is bullshit. Fine. Everyone has their preferences. Look at what has happened when the stock RSI has done what it's doing now. I want something that's overbought. Okay? Mark every time the stock RSI went to overbought. And just look at the size of the moves. Just look at the size of this shit. When I see this, I say, wow, we are bullish. The price of Ethereum went up 40% when we hit overbought. The price of Ethereum here went up 85%. These are rough estimates, of course. We were oversold here. The price of Ethereum went up by 80%. We were oversold down here. The price of Ethereum went up 80%. And we were oversold here. And the price went up by 37%. Right now, we're up a whopping 28 to 30%. So when we were bullish, you can even go back here. Then I'm done. The price from oversold to overbought went up 50%. We went up 56, 40, 85, 80, and 80. And even here, we went up 37%. If you mean to tell me that this rolling over is going to be bullish, I don't have a response to that. The only time that even happened was right here after we went up 80%, meaning it was so bullish that this didn't matter. The smallest rally in 2 years, arguably 3 years now. We're going back to 2022. I'll even take it a step further and say 4 years. The smallest rally in 4 years is bullish. My brother in Christ, if this comes back down, we are going straight down. Because even in a bull market, when we went down, we absolutely collapsed. This was a 28% drawdown. If we fall by 28%, you're going all the way down to 1,300. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it. If you're telling me the exact same move that sent Ethereum up in the bull market can't send us up now, but I'm supposed to be bullish when it curls down, I can't do it. And Solana is even worse. Now, I know you're not going to tell me that Solana's bearish in a bull market. I know that's not what you're telling me, right? This is what I'm talking about. Look at this dude. Look at this fucking guy. You're telling me that this is bullish? If it was bullish, it would have went up, my brother in Christ. Now, maybe it still does. I'm not sitting here telling you we have to go down yet, but I'm sitting here telling you that if we don't go up soon, it is going down. Even in the bull market, when the bull market started, look at the size of that puppy. Even here, this was a disgusting crash. 53% we went back to oversold. I am a big momentum guy. I am. I can't sit here telling you if you don't get in, you're going to miss the bull run when this just crossed down. And the last 2 times it crossed down, Solana fell by 63% and 71%. Not to mention, look at the size of the moves up. This move up was 160%. This move up was 100%. You know how much we went up now? You motherfucker. We went up negative 40%. Oh, I can't do it. I'm bearish, man. I'm giving the Moon Boys another 2 weeks, and then I'm turning full-blown bearish. I don't know why it's so fun to say that, you motherfucker. Yeah, we're giving the Moon Boys another 2 weeks max. Then I'm out. I'm max bearish. You motherfucker. Alright, that's enough opium overdose for today. Oh. Why'd this guy delete all of his chats? Why'd this guy delete all of his chats? I can't even see what he said. Alright, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Chudwick Bailey's back in the chat. Solana's done for now. Yeah, but that means that we're in a bear market. You can't tell me Solana's bearish, but Bitcoin's going up. That's impossible. Oh, that happened in March of 2025. Thanks for playing. All right, gentlemen. Best of luck to you all. I appreciate the super chats. You guys kept the lights on today. Listen, I'm not trying to come off as an expert. I'm not an expert. If I were an expert, the day I become an expert is the day I leave YouTube, because I will no longer need YouTube. I'm here because my pockets are empty and I am poor. When I become an expert, I don't return. My real passion is going to be playing Baccarat with a fucking loafers on and a... What is that hat called? What is my hat called? There's a name for it. Somebody give me the name of this hat. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like the round hat. It's like a little sun hat. And it's got the stripe. What is this called? I want to be playing Baccarat. I don't want to be playing squiggle line. I can't remember the name of the hat. I'm going to wear my sunglasses, even though it's inside. The digital Baccarat. Card to the player, card to the banker, fat boy wins. I can't think of the name of the hat. But fedora? No, not a fedora. There's a name for it. Oh, I guess it is a fedora. Oh, I guess it is a fedora. Yeah, but it's not like a fedora like you guys are thinking. It's a straw one. It's a straw hat. Yeah, it's right here, basically. It's it's a straw hat. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. Best of luck to you all. As always, I appreciate the support. None of this is financial advice. Take care to you all. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.